is a recording of Monday Morning Mobility. This is a mini session that I'm offering every Monday morning at 8 a.m. of July 2020, so during the pandemic. And I just wanted to record this little introduction because I had some technical difficulties. It is, of course, the brave new world, and I'm just learning. One thing that happened is I had meant to disable the waiting room in Zoom, but I noticed that it did not disable. So some people may have been stuck in the waiting room rather than being admitted. And I apologize if that was you, if you were stuck there and weren't able to get in. Hopefully this video will make it up to you and you can follow along at your own time. Another thing that happened is that I meant to disable the video and audio of attendees. And unfortunately that didn't happen. And in fact, you'll notice on my screen, it's split. On the left side, you have a lady, and on the right side, you have me. And luckily, a very nice lady allowed me to still share this video with her on it. Hopefully in future videos, it'll just be a nice full screen with me instructing. And the last thing, I just wanted to redo my introduction. Because of the technical difficulties I was having, I was a little bit distracted and I may have missed out some important information. So this mobility session is based on original strength, the original strength system, which is all about removing the brakes from your nervous system so that you can fully express your movement. So it does wonders for flexibility, mobility, balance, coordination, strength, and it's based on three main inputs. Okay, the vestibular system, which is your center of balance behind your ear, diaphragmatic breathing, and contralateral movement patterns. These are three inputs that we can use to help take the brakes off the nervous system. So all the movements are based on those things. There's only two rules that I want you to follow. One, keep the tongue on the roof of your mouth. If you don't know where that is, swallow, and you'll notice where your tongue goes. Just keep it there the whole time. There's a big reason for that, but I won't bore you with it. And the second tip is don't move into pain. So all of these movements can be modified. The range of motion can be shortened to make sure that you're never moving into pain. The nervous system only knows fear and safety. So if you move into pain, you're applying the brakes, you're not taking them off. So even though you may feel like, man, I really want to stretch and push this movement a little bit, see if I can get into it, don't do that. It's going to have the opposite effect you want, okay? So that's it. I wanted to keep this introduction short. Enjoy the video, and hopefully I see you on the next Monday, all right? Take care. Okay, so first thing we're going to do is begin with a baseline, okay? So baseline could be anything you want. I really like a squat because most people struggle with the squat movement. They feel pretty stiff in it. So pick any movement. It could be a toe touch, could be a squat, could be anything, could even be a push-up or something like that. Go ahead and perform your movement and just get a subjective feel for it. So I'm a little tight this morning. I feel a little hunched in my squat. My ankles are a little bit tight. So I'm going to just sort of take note of that and see how I feel after the session, okay? So first thing we're going to do, it's morning, so maybe we're just waking up. We're just going to begin with a big contralateral pattern, okay? We'll start with something called cross crawl, and all you're going to do is march, okay, and bring your opposite knee to your opposite elbow. And you want to keep the tongue on the roof of your mouth. And if you want to know where that is, just swallow. And where your tongue goes is the top of the roof of your mouth. Try breathing in and out through the nose and keep your eyes up. If you find that you're getting crunched or this feels really stiff to you, just go opposite hand to opposite knee instead of elbow to knee. Okay, and then to ramp it up a little bit more, we're going to go into a skip. So if you don't know how to skip, start by marching. Get the elbows up. You can stick with marching if you want, or you can put some power into the ground. So just drive down, and you'll feel the tissues of your leg create a little spring. Still trying to breathe with the nose if you can. Shake it out. And we'll begin with diaphragmatic breathing. So the best way to find your diaphragm is in a short position. So if you come onto your back, pull your knees into your chest, just hug your knees and relax your shoulders, relax your face, relax your jaw, tongue on the roof of the mouth. And you'll notice in this position, you can really feel the belly expand against the thighs. And if you bring your arms over your head, we'll challenge the diaphragm a little bit more. See if you can keep the breathing in your belly, so the belly's expanding. You'll notice it's a little bit more difficult. Start to build some strength in that diaphragm muscle. Most of us breathe high in our chest. That locks us up, locks up our mobility and freezes the nervous system. Okay, and then you can bring the legs out long. Yeah, a little more difficult. So one more big breath. Really try to get that breath as low as you can. Breathe right down to your pelvis. Okay, now a funny little movement, but small can be powerful. So all we're going to do is lie on the back, palms can be on the ground, and pretend you've got a ketchup stain on your shirt. Okay, and we're going to lead with the eyes. So if the tongue always stays on the roof of the mouth, all of our movements are led with the eyes. You'll notice the movement happens almost automatically. So I'm going to look down at the ketchup stain, keep my head on the ground, and tuck my chin. You can hold for a couple of seconds, and then release, and then look down again. So it's great if you have text neck, you have tension in the back of your neck, lengthening those suboccipital muscles and building some strength in the deep neck flexors. Most of us need that. Try to get the sense that if you move the eyes, the head almost moves automatically. Okay, and that's reflexive strength. That's what we're trying to restore here, which will open up your mobility throughout your entire body. One more time. Eyes lead, head moves automatically. It's pretty amazing. Okay, and then what we're going to do is bring the head back to center. Again, lead with the eyes. We're going to look right and left. So eyes go, head goes. Eyes go, head goes. If you can maintain the diaphragmatic breath, that's great. If not, don't worry about it. It takes a lot of practice to restore. Okay, and if you find that this makes you dizzy, and it might, some people get dizzy doing this, just shorten the range of motion. Or even a really neat practice is you bring the head back to center and move the eyes right and left. See if you can move the eyes without moving the head. It's almost impossible. Again, the eyes control the muscles of the neck, and that might be enough for you, okay? From there, we're gonna go into a windshield wiper. You bring your arms out to a T shape. Make sure your shoulder blades stay in contact with the ground. Knees come up to chest. I'm trying to get my tailbone just slightly off the ground, and I'm gonna lead with the eyes. So I'm gonna look, turn my head, let the legs fall. Try to keep those shoulder blades grounded. Look with the eyes. So I'm gonna look the other way, and let the legs fall. Eyes, head, legs, eyes, head, legs. So we're really working on thoracic spine mobility here. But again, it's still vestibular because we're
We're using the eyes, we're moving the head. And we're going to keep breathing in the belly. Never moving into pain. If anything feels painful, it's going to have the opposite effect. It's going to shut the nervous system down rather than taking the brakes off. Okay. If you find you're stuck at some point, you can drop the legs, okay, and just breathe in this position. And you might notice the legs fall a little further. The breathing helps to open up that mobility a little bit. Okay. From there, we're going to go into the dead bug. The dead bug is like my favorite core exercise because not only does it strengthen your midsection, it helps you move through the ball and socket joints. So if you have tight hips, tight shoulders, tight neck, the dead bug is amazing. Okay. We do this a little differently than you may have done it before. Again, we want the tailbone off the ground. The arms are up. And we're going opposite arm, opposite leg, lower to the ground. And your sole focus here is just keeping that tailbone up off the ground. You don't have to think about engaging your core. It's going to happen reflexively as long as you are keeping that tailbone off the ground. Okay? If that feels difficult, you can always shorten levers, so you go bent knee. Okay? If the coordination doesn't feel natural to you, you might have to spend more time doing the dead bug. So keep it up another 30 seconds or so, breathing in and out through the nose, tongue under through the mouth. Try not to move to mouth breathing here. Really pulling the air in with that diaphragm. Last few. All right. So from the dead bug, we're going to go into quadruped rock. All right, so you're going to come into a tabletop position. The width of your knees is going to be basically what it would be if you're going to go into a crawl. Okay. Head is up always, okay? So we're gonna keep the head up. Your vestibular system always wants to find the horizon. You have something called the righting reflex, and we're gonna try to restore that. So whatever your relation of your spine is to the ground, your head is going to move to stay in line with the horizon, okay? Toes can curl under, or they can rest on the tops, or you can play around with different positions. And all you're gonna do is rock back and forth with the head up. Rocking is really nice because it's what set the curves of your spine when you're a child. So really great for restoring posture, restoring stability in the shoulders and the hips. And it feels good. That's the main thing. We want to take the brakes off the nervous system. We want it to feel safe. And these developmental positions were very stable. Yeah, the brain really likes it. Usually you rock a baby to comfort it. And again, what you're doing is you're moving that vestibular system around, which is very comforting. It sends a lot of positive information to the brain. The only thing you want to watch for in the rock is keeping your tailbone up in the back of the rock. If you're lacking a little bit of reflexive strength, you'll find your tailbone kind of collapses. If that happens, just shorten the range. Don't go as far back. Okay, and then what we'll do, we'll drop onto the belly, and we'll do my favorite, which is a supine roll. So, a prone roll into supine, starting on the belly. Arms are overhead, like Superman. And you're just going to bend your right arm, look right at your elbow, keep following your elbow with your eyes until you get pulled into a roll. Okay, to come back across, look at your hand. Reach across your body and keep reaching until the body tips. Okay? And then you can move with the other side. So we just alternate sides. And you want your lower body to feel like a rag doll. Okay? Really just Relaxing that lower body, and think of your body just rolling like a wave. One segment at a time, restoring that rotation of the spine. If you find that you're tensing your body to do this, that's a sign that you're lacking reflexive strength. Okay? You need to strengthen the nervous system by practicing a little bit more of this. So you can keep with the full rolls, but if you find you're getting stuck and the body's tensing, what I'd like you to do is just lift the elbow until you feel the body tension creeping in, and then relax down. Bring the other elbow up, go until you feel that tension creeping in, and then relax down, okay? You can stay with that variation. If you want to go from your back onto your belly and you find that you're tensing up, same thing. Look at the hand, reach across the body until you get stiff or you feel that the body is getting tense, and then you relax back down. The whole time, tongue is on the roof of the mouth, and we're not moving into pain. Okay, very important. This should feel really good. You're giving the body a little bit of a massage to the largest sensory organ in the body, the skin, right? Which gives the brain a lot of information about where it is in space. It's going to make you a much better mover and much more aware of your body and your movements. Okay, from there, we're going to come back into a quadruped rocking position. And what we're going to do is something called the Lego rock to really mobilize the feet and the ankles. So same as our original rocking position, but we're going to bring the heel in line with the knee here. Okay, head stays up as best it can. Right? If you're a little tight, you might feel hunched. Don't worry about it. You can't do this wrong unless you're moving into pain. Okay, and then all you're going to do is rock and roll through that foot until that knee comes to the floor. Okay, it should feel pretty gentle. All of this stuff is pretty gentle. It works really well. Okay, you can play with the knee position. So right now I'm sort of outside, which is really working through the big toe area. Or I can come, or sorry, outside is more through the smaller toes. If I really want to get into that big toe area, I'm just going to drop the knee inside. So you can play around with the angles, hit different spots of your feet. You got 33 joints there. The feet need lots of movement, so this is a great way to play with that. And then we'll switch sides. Keeping the head up. You might even feel a little bit of stretching through the groin, and you get this really nice deep flexion of the hip. Try inside, different angles. So then coming into sitting like a puppy, so we're quadruped position, just going to sit back, and we're going to work again a little head control. Eyes lead the movement, look up with the eyes. Head follows, look down, tuck your chin into your neck. Try to notice how this feels along the spine. Notice that it's not just the neck doing the work. You might feel your upper back expanding and contracting. Try to pay attention to what the shoulders are doing. Are they getting involved? And then eyes on the horizon line. And we're going to look left and right. Remember, eyes lead, so look with the eyes. Let the head turn. Try to look into your back pocket. Okay, and then other way. Keep pushing the eyes along the horizon. You'll find that the head gets some really nice rotation. Maybe. But if you're like me, you probably feel a ton in your spine. I feel lots of opening through the side ribs, the thoracic spine. I feel my obliques, my deep lower back muscles. Lots of tension there. That needs to be released. Okay, try to keep your head above water. If you're really stuck, you find a lot of people are kind of peering around their shoulder, which is okay too. But as you open up, the head starts to lift up. Notice your shoulders, your shoulder blades. A great way if you've got frozen shoulders, your shoulders are stuck, they're not feeling good. Notice your shoulder blades are reflexively moving, okay, and you're building some reflexive control and strength in those shoulders. Okay, and then the last one is my favorite one. This is the crawl. So 2 ways you can do this today. First way is just the baby crawl, okay? I say just the baby crawl. If you do this enough, it's actually really challenging. So eyes up on the horizon, okay? And don't think about it. Just reach with a hand, let the body follow. Let the feet drag. Let the feet drag. If you don't have a lot of space, you just work forward and back. If you want to get really creative, you can start to go in circles, or you can draw squares. And if you really want to wake the body up today, you curl your toes under, lift the knees up, and we just keep knees up, head up, a lot below the shoulders, but don't let it mess with your breathing. So we want to keep that diaphragmatic breath going. In and out through the nose. If you can crawl for 5 minutes straight, you're a champ. We're not going to do that today, but you can experiment with that. Let's go 30 more seconds. You can alternate between the baby crawl and a leopard crawl if you want. When the leopard crawl gets tough, you can just drop down to the knees. 10 seconds to go. All right, last thing you're gonna do before you move on with the day is retest your baseline. So I'm gonna check out my squat. And much easier, right? I didn't really stretch anything specific to the squat, but I improved my reflexive strength and my nervous system. So I'm gonna move better at whatever I do today. Okay, thanks a lot. Hope to see you next week. I will put this video up on YouTube if you missed it, and we'll see you next week.